story right here. Body cam shows deadly welfare check. A black woman handled improperly by cops. It's an Titian Jefferson welfare check handled improperly. Let's get to the video.
Very sad story. Wellness check goes horribly wrong. That trial may conclude today. Tatiana had a welfare check done, and it was handled improperly. Let me remind you of the story. Here's the body cam.
Viewer discussion is advised. This is Fort Worth.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
While the officer was walking around, did you hear him identify himself? Did you hear him say, "Police"?
Nope.
Are you okay?
No, all they did was walk around and whisper him each other. And I guess and all of a sudden he sees a person. And he's saying, "Put your hands up!" And all of a sudden you hear a shot fired.
Hey, I'm here to help. No.
Nope.
That trial may conclude today. This is a former cop now, obviously. Let's put up his picture, full mask, beside the victim. So sad.
That's the loser, loser fucking cop. That's the victim.
Tarrant County jury heard closing
Aaron
arguments in
Dean.
the murder
That's
trial
Aaron
of
Dean.
38-year-old
That's
Aaron Dean
Tatiana.
over the fatal shooting of 28-year-old Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Jefferson inside of her Fort Worth, Texas home. She was at home. It was a welfare check. Not only did he do it improperly, he did it criminally.
Yes, he
The
did.
presiding judge told the jury that they have two charges.
He probably did it. Yeah. He didn't even care at all. He just committed cold-blooded murder right there.
Charges to consider during their deliberation: murder or the lesser charge of manslaughter. Ms. Jefferson
Manslaughter is a lesser
was
charge
shot
of murder.
dead by Officer Dean through a bedroom window. After Dean testified, she pointed a gun at him. One witness to her death was her then 8-year-old nephew. His name is Zion Carr. Officer Dean said he had his weapon out because he believed the home was in the midst of being robbed. He fired at her through the window because we're taught to meet deadly force with deadly force. We're not taught that we have to wait.
And here we go again. Here we go again. Oh, you get cops on saying, "Oh, we're taught to shoot first and ask questions." Oh, we're taught if we're feared for life and safety, we're going to shoot and we don't care if we kill. Oh, well, it is what it is. Here we go again on that one.
He said. Jonathan Priest, let's put him up, a forensic expert called upon by prosecutors, said Dean should have remained at Jefferson's front door instead of circling her home unannounced.
Yep.
I don't know why they leave the front door, but going through the gate only exacerbates this. They have to open that gate if somebody is back there, Priest said, of Dean and the second who was with him. He also said what he saw was problematic. Body cam footage showed Dean arrive at an open door. It was an open front door. which was the reason he was ordered to check on the house in the first place and then circle the home. Prosecutors say Jefferson heard a noise outside and grabbed her gun. Dean testified Monday that he fired through the window after Jefferson pointed a gun at him, something prosecutors say never happened, per the child's testimony. The child said that never happened. Regardless of how the incident ended, Priest said Dean should have never been near Jefferson's window at all. An action Dean claimed is Fort Worth PD's procedure for responding to a home with doors left open. However, in cross-examination, he admitted many of his actions that night were bad police work, including firing without seeing her hands
there it is.
or what was behind her, failing to tell his partner he saw a gun, and rushing into the home without fully ensuring that it was safe. All of these are dynamics of negligence that led to the death of another human being. You are responsible for your negligence. Even if you did not have intent to murder, you are responsible for gross criminal negligence, for sure. The prosecution did not use kid gloves with this officer while recounting the events. Led to the deadly shooting. Dean became visibly shaken, started to cry. I know you're crying now, but you weren't crying when you decided to administer CPR, Tatiana. When you decided not to administer CPR, Prosecutor Dale Smith said to Dean during cross-examination. Okay, you have a few violations here, obviously. One, he breaks all protocol.
Yep.
Two, shoots to kill someone and he's unable to actually see them. Three, after doing the shooting, he doesn't even bother to provide standard first aid.
Yeah, tell Dean, he's like, yeah, like that. Yeah, like the prosecutor said, yeah, you're crying now, but you wasn't crying the scene after you shot her. Yeah, you didn't even bother before CPR. Yeah, you're crying now, you dumb fucking piece of shit pig. You're crying now because your life's over. You're fucked. Your career is terminated. It's all over, dumbass. That's why you're crying now. Trying to play the symphony crocodile bullshit tears.
CPR. It's trained to do this, by the way.
Yeah.
To preserve life. You see, Officer Dean, you went into that situation not valuing the life of the person inside.
Nope.
From go. That's the reason you responded the way you responded. Once again, closing arguments settled today. We shall see, hopefully, a conviction very soon.
Hell yeah.
Dear brother, what are your thoughts here?
The neighbor that called this in called the non-emergency police number. So even the neighbor didn't think, oh God, the house is being broken into. We need the police officer should not have been the one to respond to that first and foremost. This is a non-emergency. It could have been likely a health emergency, ambulance, fire department. Those should have been.
Yeah. And how many times have I covered stories about someone calling a non-emergency number or 911 for, a health crisis, maybe for, like an ambulance or an EMT showing up. But what shows up instead? Yeah, the police. This is not the first one. I've done at least about 3 or 4 in the last couple months.
And the first people on that scene, but instead, this officer was dispatched there with gun in hand, knowing that this was reported as a non-emergency. I don't get it. I mean,
plus the fact is that this cop shows up knowing that this was not, this was not a B&E or burglary. This was a health crisis. You don't pull a gun on a mental health crisis. Maybe for a B&E, there's a burglar work around, but knowing that he thought there was a burglar, no, this was a health crisis.
Failures in this are not just with that officer itself, which he has too many failures to even count at this point. The failures go from the top down, the dispatch, all of it has to be examined. Why did we send an armed individual for a wellness check when the neighbor thought it was likely a health-related issue?
That's right.
That to me, I mean, all of this, and I'm sure that neighbor has got to be just absolutely beside themselves. I mean, I would be knowing, hey, I was trying to help my neighbor who I thought was in crisis, And now, unfortunately, my phone call led to this horrible event. My God, just the failures across the board, top down, systematic, has to be reformed. And we can't just, the officer's not the only one. I mean, obviously, he's the one who pulled the trigger, but there's so many other steps in that process that are being ignored, and we can't ignore it because that's what led to what happened.
Well said. You have a policy dynamic, you have a personal responsibility dynamic, and you have the professional dynamic. All of those things were out of whack, and it caused.
Yeah. Before we get out of here as well, you know, homeowners are allowed to bear arms. It is protected under the Second Amendment. They are allowed to have a gun. Because this cop approached the scene and said, let me see your hands. He didn't say police officer or police or do you need help. This homeowner heard something. She probably thought maybe some burglar was around the bushes. And that's exactly what these cops were doing. This guy was going around, he's whispering on his co-worker like that. And this poor woman heard something. Could have been a burglar. Could have been a rapist. So she reached for her strap. Knowing that maybe someone's about to pull through the window and maybe she had a gun in hand. Somebody closing the window said, says hollering like that, yeah, I'm going to reach in my heater. That's crazy. So, yeah. It's another case of happy fuck the cops say, yeah, fuck the police happy. Another cop goes to fucking jail day and in prison. Yeah, with that said, I'm out of here. Mind y'all. Peace out.